Hi guys, I'm Alex Wood and I'm with Phantom Media as we continue our interviews for candidates for the University of Derby Student Union elections. Today I'm talking to...
Emily Jones, and I'm running for VP Welfare.
How are you, Emily? You okay?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for asking. No one really asks.
No.
No one asks. No one asks if I'm fine. Yeah, but brilliant. What drew you to the particular role of VP Welfare, Emily?
Well, I started a role called Student Liaison in Pool and Snooker, and it's just made me become more aware of the issues we've got with mental health and student welfare. And I'm quite passionate about improving it and getting it to a position where all the students are happy with what the university are offering at the moment. So I just want to push what's currently going on within the uni and make things much better than they currently are, especially due to COVID and the pandemic. All that has obviously had impact on a lot of mental health as well and welfare of students.
Beautiful. And if you were to be elected and like you were to win VP Welfare, first of all, congratulations. Let's celebrate. Let's have a dance party. Let's pop the champagne. Woo, yeah, let's go crazy. Like, what would be the primary aim though if you were to succeed?
The primary aim would literally to ensure every student knows exactly where to go with certain things, because I find there's a loss of communication, and all the students that may be looking for particular areas like welfare, religious beliefs, there's a lot of LGBTQ community as well, so that obviously they want to communicate with the people within that community, and there's basically loads of small communities within the university, and the union actually offers like different activities, societies, sports, and positions within the union and the university itself, but nobody knows they're there. I mean, I'm running for VP Welfare and I didn't even know you could run for VP Welfare. I only recently found that out when I went to apply for it. So my aim would be to make it more of a standpoint with everyone, so that they walk into uni and they know exactly where everything is, all the resources, and basically be a student liaison but with a higher means to what I currently do at the moment. So yeah.
Brilliant.
That's my aim.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. Like, what is your particular perception of the Union of Students right now?
I feel like it's not very heavily communicative with basically students. I feel like there's like this divide between the union and then the students, which the union runs for the students. So I feel like voices aren't being heard, perceptions aren't being corrected, and I feel like basically everything's going on within the uni is very separated, so the students don't know what's going on, they don't know what the union are actually doing to improve areas, and I think that's essential for students to know that, so that they can start feeling more comfortable in their transition to uni, their journey through uni, and after uni as well.
This is really great when I interview candidates, because 9 times out of 10 they answer my next question for me, which is exactly what you've just done, which is brilliant. The next question simply is there anything that you would change? Now, you've just given us a brief list there. Do you want to expand on any of them?
So for instance, I've had to fund myself personally. I haven't got family to fund me, and I've also found it very difficult financially. So one of the things I want to do is build a really structured support group and support plans for students, because there's a lot of support for finance, but you have to be in a certain bracket. So I want to work with the president and the finance department and all that to try and build like a support plan for students that may struggle, because there's students that will be getting the low cap of money financially, and that's not enough to live with. I had to get a full-time job to be able to afford that stability and be able to continue uni, and it's a hot amount of stress. Another one is obviously accessibility through campuses, because I find that I'm at Kedleston, I don't know what's going on with Mark Eaton, I don't know what's going on, I don't know all of the campuses, and I feel like that's definitely a bridge gap that we need to like cover, basically, because people make friends with students all around campuses, but they aren't given the opportunity to explore the other campuses. They aren't given the opportunity to see what the other campuses are like, which then puts students in a backward, because we're at Kedleston. And so we've got all these different support systems, we've got all these different food eateries. I don't know what it's like in the other campuses, and I think that there could be a situation where other campuses aren't providing the same quality that I'm getting. Another one is, obviously, as I'm again student liaison, I want to like incorporate like voluntary student liaison roles throughout the uni, so there's always going to be someone around the new students, current students and future students can go to for like support if they don't feel comfortable going to adults. So they'd rather go to people that are going through the same progress that they're going through. And then obviously another one would be lifestyle campaigns. So I found moving into uni, budgeting, living on your own, you know, getting to know people and all that kind of environment, it's a very stressful thing to learn whilst you're also doing your degree. So I sort of want to create a lifestyle campaign where students can go, sit, understand budgeting a bit more, understand what costs they will be paying for, understand like basically all the finance, understand like where they can go if they need extra help with, especially like student parents, you know. So create that sort of thing with VP activities as well, helping to build that so that there's always going to be a support around lifestyle and making sure people follow the right paths and make sure that they progress effectively whilst not letting it affect their university work. And then basically I just want to create a strong connected university with the union students, and obviously cover depression, mental health, like remove all the stigma around BAME students, LGBTQ, disabilities, like invisible and visible. I just want to like bridge that and make it more of a discussed topic rather than something that's got to be kept to whoever's got that mental health issue or that disability or that, you know, lifestyle feeling and etc. and all the minority groups. I just don't feel that the uni is doing much about it at this point in time, and I just want to push it even more because especially with lockdown and all this COVID stuff, a lot of students, no matter who they are, it doesn't matter where they come from, what environment they're in, they're all feeling that strain because of being online, and then coming back to uni is going to be a whole new level of stress and anxieties that people didn't even know they had until all this happened.
Brilliant, amazing. Thank you very much for that. And the next little segment is a little bit job interviewy, so apologies about that.
Okay.
But the next little bit is how do you solve problems in a professional setting?
I mean, I feel like it's always going to be a learning curve. I never feel like, you know, there's going to be an instant resolution to everything. I feel like it's a slow progress to get to it. But, you know, as long as you communicate effectively, you listen to what people have to say, you take criticism, you know, lightly, you don't get offended by it, and you learn from what as you go along. I feel like, you know, it helps create a professional sense, and it helps you understand people more. And then that's where the welfare job comes in, because if I want to solve welfare, I've got to understand people's welfare to be able to do it. And if I ignore that, then I won't be able to in that sense. If I just walk into the role and I just don't care what anybody else is saying, that defeats the whole point of running for this role. I hope that answered your question.
No, that and then some. Brilliant. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. The next one's a little bit funny and a little bit strange. Okay, so obviously, imagine this. It's a hypothetical, and hopefully, in your case and in your heart, it's not hypothetical. It becomes true. You win. You're elected VP Welfare. Woohoo! Amazing. We have that dance party again. We do that. We're all amazing. And stuff like that. And but when you actually do win, there is something that is incredible about this. They take that headshot of you that's then plastered everywhere. It's all over the place. Your face is on every corner of the university. And even if you're lucky, you get that full body shot in front of the university with your 4 other VPs. That's not photoshopped. We promise. It's not photoshopped. I've asked. It's not. That was a legit Photoshop day. No, I'm joking. But how would you deal with that kind of let's say anonymity and publicity that the role gives you? Because every student's going to know who you are.
I mean, I'm quite a social person outside and I'm quite talkative. I love to get to know anyone and everyone. So, you know, people being made more aware of me, I think that's going to obviously bring my own anxieties out, and I'm going to feel that extra pressure. But then for me, it's also a good thing because it shows people who they can go to. And I'm definitely the type of person that walks around, talks to everyone. And, you know, I'd like to see myself as approachable. I don't know about my friends, but, you know, I do like to see myself as approachable. But, you know, having that publicity, it's not about the publicity for me. It's like I could easily do what like this job entails just by myself, but not have the same impact. I could easily just be that friend that somebody comes to and try and help them through the problem. So having publicity to me is just a little tiny aspect of why I'm doing this. But having people made aware of me, I feel like it will help strengthen the concept of what I'm trying to say is important, that I'm approachable and people can talk to me now, they can talk to me in the future, they can talk to me even if I don't get the role. That's always going to be the case, whether I'm public in their eyesight, you know, or I'm not. It's just I'm always going to have that viewpoint.
Brilliant, amazing.
Yeah.
Now we'll shift gears a little bit, and we'll move on to something completely different. So during the obviously the current COVID-19 crisis that we're in, a lot of students feel that their university experience and what the student union has done, and not only the university's responses to all of these, have been subpar. A lot of it, because the current COVID-19 crisis has affected students. We all know this, and obviously with them all like feeling a negative aspect towards the union or towards the university because of their experience failing. How do you feel? What do you exactly think that the university and the union of students should do in response to this?
So as being a student myself, you know, I have suffered with a lot of the issues that students have suffered with. I just feel like there's some, I don't want to bring a negative aspect, but there's not as much support available. So I feel like the union should be more open, more conversive with the students, get to understand why the students are feeling that way, because we're trying to voice our concerns and voice why we're feeling like this, and it's very subjective to how many people are actually listening. So for them to be able to change and face it and improve and support, they need to listen to students first. And I know that there's the current VP welfare, she's arranged this whole student group chat thing that, you know, it's like a living room social online, maybe utilizing that as a form to understand why students are feeling that way, what their issues are. My issue is connectivity, and that puts hours and hours out during the week. Other people may be suffering with different issues, like their computer's not functioning correctly, or they can't get the support for specific apps, or, you know, so it's a case of facing that, finding a resolution, and then being able to go back to that student and be like, right, okay, so you're having connectivity issues. I know you're not doing a practical module, so therefore it's not with the COVID guidelines, but maybe if you come back to Derby and we can have a one-to-one, see how we can work through this under COVID like safety regulations, we can maybe bring you into the uni and have you be able to do it in the uni with good connectivity, and, you know, basically going up to each student and treating each student as a human being, not as a collective. And that's why I think that that's the best way to help support and, like, you know, maintain a good level of education, which is currently obviously difficult because we're all learning, but it's possible.
Do you know what, Emily, you're a complete superstar, because not only once during this interview, but twice you've now answered my question again in that amazing answer that you've just given there. So that's twice that you've done it. So so the next question was obviously going to be what will the role of VP welfare do for that? But I'm just going to leave your answer as the answer for that, because obviously what you've just said there and outlined with each student individually, getting the help and the response that you need, and taking the time to speak to each student individually is the definition of VP welfare. So yeah. I'll let you leave that with that previous answer, but I will move on to my final question of the day, which obviously is, throughout this year, us at Phantom, we've called this year kind of the virtual year, okay? Because we're in computer screens right now. We are normally this would be face to face, and we'd be having a mini dance party over the hypothetical VP win that we've had twice throughout this interview already. I can't believe we've done that, but yes, let's carry on. But there have been lessons that need to be learned throughout this virtual year. Definitely.
Yeah.
I've learned new things. You've learned new things this year as well. So not only from a personal perspective, but a professional one as well. Are there any lessons that you've learned this year that you will definitely take into next?
Yeah, I've definitely learned that, you know, I mean, from a jokey's perspective, hygiene is important. Not that I've ever had a problem with that, but you know, so maybe we need to take the extra precautions to ensure that. I've also learned that there's a lot of financial difficulties with students that have only come to light because of all of this that's going on. So it's like, for me, it's like making sure I can help my friends on a personal level. You know, I can help my friends make sure that they're okay, making sure that, you know, especially the people that live in different countries and they can't get home, just making sure they are comfortable and they're not feeling alone. And that's a personal perspective. This isn't from the job role or anything. It's just something I like to do, make sure everyone's okay. But like yeah, from this year I've learned that online for education is not the same as in person, especially when you're paying a lot of money to have that education. A lot of the time you know, you're able to basically do it on your own because you're given all the resources because it's online. Therefore you can't sit and talk. There's a lot of loss of personal interaction, which I think is so essential for mental health, so essential for myself, you know, being able to go and just think, oh, I can go and see my friend if I want to. All that's gone. And I've definitely learned that, you know, this coming year with all this that eventually goes, I'm gonna go out more, I'm gonna check on people more, I'm gonna, you know, just be myself and enjoy life outside of technology. And you know, and then finally just push myself to get where I want to be and do it that way, instead of just being stuck on my phone and stopping myself from doing that. So that's what I've learned this year. You know, I've just learned to push myself and be more adventurous in the process.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Emily.
No problem.